Okay, so we're going to get started, and we have Marissa Roy. I'm going to let her speak now since she is in her car and going through a situation right now. And so I'm just going to let her speak. Marissa, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So you got like 5 minutes, and just, I guess, tell us why you want to be LA City Attorney.
Sure. I apologize if anyone didn't hear at the beginning. I had to take my friend to urgent care, and so she actually is getting her prescription right now. We're making it all work, but I am just sorry to appear by car. But we're all dialed in. I'm Marissa Roy. I'm running to be LA City Attorney because this could truly be one of the most significant public interest law offices in the city. So long before I was ever an attorney, I was a protective older sister um, to a younger gay brother. And growing up in California in the 90s was not always a friendly place for the LGBTQ community. And I was constantly defending my brother from bullies who said he was not a normal boy. Um, when Proposition 8 passed, it was something that I couldn't defend him from. It's, our state had voted to take away his future. And that was the first time I really understood very viscerally that people were getting to vote on my family. And so it was the San Francisco city attorney that sued and got Prop 8 overturned. And that was my whole path to becoming an attorney. And I very specifically wanted to be an attorney in government because I had seen the power of when government works for the people. And so I went to law school and then joined the LA City Attorney's Office, where I built some of their first, large scale wage theft cases, fighting the misclassification of port trucking drivers, fighting actually car wash that's not too far away from this pharmacy that wasn't paying workers minimum wages. We actually were able to win back workers at that car wash between $10,000 and $40,000 each, which was incredible. And then after that, I went on to represent LA County as outside counsel for all of their litigation against the Trump administration. And so, as part of over a dozen legal actions, we made sure that LA County didn't lose a single dollar in that first administration as a sanctuary city. And then I went on to a nonprofit where I represented cities across the country doing civil rights work, voting rights work, reproductive rights work, doing Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, which was fun. And then a couple of years ago, I joined the California Attorney General's office doing consumer protection, where I'm currently suing Meta to kind of arguing that they have created the apps to be addictive and trying to recover for all the mental health harms they've caused kids. And then also I'm investigating violations of state housing law. And so I've had the opportunity to represent, cities, counties, now the state, and do really important public interest work. And that's the work that I don't see happening right now at the city attorney's office in a moment when we need it most. There were 13,000 complaints of tenant harassment filed in the last 2 years, and only 4 administrative fines from the housing department, 0 city attorney cases. There's only been 1 new workers' rights case filed in the last couple of years. And, against the Trump administration, our city attorney really didn't participate until council filed a motion telling her she had to. We need to be on the front lines right now. Like, we need a city attorney who is fighting in the courts. And it's not just Trump. We need a city attorney who's fighting the federal administration, but then fighting the predatory companies that have been hurting Angelenos for decades. We are the capital of wage theft. We are getting crushed by corporate landlords. And we need to make sure that the city attorney is a vigorous public interest law office. And so that's the reason I'm running. And everything in my background, the reason, I think sometimes when politicians, people running for office, say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it's hard to take their word sometimes. But for everything I'm saying I want to do, I have a case where I've already done it. And so that is the type of work I know these offices can do, because it's what I've been doing my entire career. And it's what the city attorney's office can do when we really flex.
I love all of that. That's awesome. Um, does anybody, I mean, I read in your questionnaire, and I guess I'll just start with this, that you're organizing a union at USC.
Yeah, LDOJ, actually for probably like longer. I'll back up. I'm a union member at the California Department of Justice, and it's kind of an interesting perspective because I have come into a really strong union where like we have very good negotiated benefits and work arrangements, and they fight for us when there's things like Legionella in the drinking water. True story, don't drink the water at the state building. Um, and then at USC, I teach on the side. I've been teaching for like 5 years as an adjunct lecturer in law. And USC in particular has a very predatory kind of structure where 80% of their faculty are adjuncts, which means that they are not getting healthcare or benefits or job stability. And in the law school, like we are generally like have full-time jobs and we add on one or so classes. But in like schools like the film, particularly like the arts, the writing program, the film school, like that is what they are relying on for their main income. And USC is profiting wildly off of them. And so UAW is forming a union and really wanted to make sure that it was a union that represented kind of all adjunct and non-tenure track faculty. And so I've been the main voice in the law school. And I think a big part of my push in the law school has been, I think lawyers are not often in unions and not often part of the labor movement. And so when I've been trying to organize lawyers, I think the first pushback I get is like, well, why do we need to join a union? Like, this isn't even my full-time job. I'm fine. And I think it's been an exercise for me in talking about this is about solidarity. This is about how it's affecting the other schools. And think about it this way, central administration is taking so much money from the law school. Shouldn't it be invested in the education and in the students? And so I've been able to get, there are 150 adjunct faculty at USC. We've gotten over 50 cards, a majority of USC signed cards. And so we submitted to the NLRB, but USC has been fighting us at every turn. And so they retaliated. They pulled my class because of low enrollment, even though I had some of the highest enrollment and marks of any of the summer classes. And so we know what they're doing. But as an attorney, I think it's actually very much sharpened me in a way because, as a workers' rights attorney, I've done misclassification, I've done wage theft. I haven't really gotten to experience kind of the struggles and the retaliation in the collective bargaining process. And it is so quick and kind of reactionary that like the whole process of building out a month-long investigation and then litigation, it wouldn't map on as well. And so it's helped me realize like, okay, if I were city attorney, what I would need to do, we have pre-filing subpoena power. Anytime a union is like, I want to make sure that unions are in common interest agreements with the cities. They can share information with us confidentially. And then the minute they run into any sort of organizing trouble, we send that subpoena out and that letter, and we start breathing down that employer's neck. Because sometimes that's even just the soft power that'll get an employer in line when they know someone's watching. And so kind of going through this experience has helped me realize that this is how we make sure that litigation isn't coming kind of too little too late. So in a weird way, I'm kind of been grateful for the experience, but it's really helped me appreciate just what people go through in terms of organizing a union and how lucky I am to be a union member in my day job and why we need to be doing more organizing.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I love all of that. Hmm. Does anybody have any questions you want to ask?
I concur about what you said, Marissa, about the wage theft, California being the term you use, I forgot. Like it's
We're the capital of wage theft, yeah.
I have personal experience with a former employer of mine, which is the same thing what Michelle was mentioning about what I wanted to talk to you about. But yeah, we can talk offline, but I'm with you. I completely with you. And I'm a lifelong Democrat, as I told Michelle and everyone earlier. But yeah, and just quickly, Marissa, our parents are immigrants.
Yeah.
Like mine are, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just my parents from India, like all kids of immigrants, they all come here for a better life.
Yeah.
They all come to America with a life. What freaking better life? Give me a break.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris said it best. Our vote is our vote is our voice. Our voice is our power. And I'm very extroverted and vivacious and vocal. Yes, so yes, I'm with you.
I'm so excited to follow up and hear more too.
Okay, sounds good.
Stephanie, you have your hand raised.
Yeah. I mean, I know you've been doing a lot of work for the community since like even with the previous election. And so I'm just so that we know where to support you the best. How are you in terms of fundraising and how can we support?
Yeah, fundraising's been going really well. We've raised about $200,000. We actually beat the incumbent in the last fundraising period, which is kind of insane. She especially since she launched way before us. So between January and June, she raised 140,000, and I jumped in March and raised 177. And I'm not taking. She's taking all the corporate money, any money she will take it. I'm not taking any corporate money, any sort of lobbyist or developer money. A lot of the support, to be honest, has come overwhelmingly from kind of just like the circles I guess I've worked in my whole career, the legal community, activist circles, kind of everywhere. Like 40% of the contributions are under $100, which is just kind of amazing. And so I'm really, really grateful to see this kind of support, and we're kind of building the union support too. I think we're going to be starting to work to get the volunteer program off the ground, and I think in particular, what I would really like to do are more meet and greets because I've done a few of them in CD11, but I think particularly in the Valley, I know that and it's a place that feel like a lot of people write off or they think it's more conservative than it is. And it's like I don't think so. I want to have a very strong presence in the Valley. And so I would love to do more meet and greets in the Valley and get to know people. Because I think also when people hear about this position, a lot of people just haven't known about the city attorney's office. They have no idea it could be fighting Trump or fighting wage theft or fighting abusive landlords. And I've just noticed like when I start talking to people about it, they get so excited. And so it's just a matter of kind of getting in front of people.
Yep, I totally agree.
I have a quick question. Do you know, Marissa, do you know the guy named Nathan Hotchman?
Oh yeah, the district attorney.
Do you work with him? Is he your opponent or?
No, I'm running against Heidi Feldstein Soto. The district attorney represents all of the county in criminal matters. So the city attorney does misdemeanors for the city of LA, defends the city when we're sued, and then the huge power I've been talking about, affirmative litigation, where we can sue any business for anything unlawful, unfair, or deceptive. We just don't use that power, but it is so much fun.
Since
Um,
okay.
oh, I think Maria, her hand was up. Maria, we can't hear you. At least I can't. I can't hear it very well either. So in my room. So
Yeah, I can't hear her either.
okay. Does anyone have any other questions? No? Well, Marissa, I'm since we recorded this and we don't have too many members on this call, and I want everyone to get a chance to vote. I'm going to send it out in an email and then give them about 2 weeks to vote and then get back to
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Wait,
Oh, I can
very
hear you.
little.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so sorry. I'm very, very sorry, and I truly apologize for that. Um, I've done a lot of work um, with helping formerly incarcerated people get back on their feet, as well as I helped with employees. I was a union rep, and I helped employees that was being bullied, harassed, stressed, etc. I know a lot of people that's running for office are looking for the union support and big things like that. You that's running for a city attorney, would you accept a case right now if someone was fighting the state, as in, let's just say if they worked for Department of Motor Vehicles, any state agency? A lot of people that's running will not accept the case or speak bad because they want that union support or they want the governor's support. So would you be willing to take a case if someone contacted you and said, example, they work for a state facility, and I'm only using Department of Motor Vehicles for example. would you be willing to take that case, or will you shy away from it due to the fact that you want the union support?
So I actually, it's not like actually a candidacy thing at all. I'm actually not allowed to take any cases beyond those that I have at the California Attorney General's office against Meta and, representing the people. So I'm a little bit, I don't get kind of free reign to take cases because I work for the state. But I think maybe to your larger question, I choose cases like when I'm kind of building cases based on where there has been an injustice. And if there has been an injustice, my political kind of career and not career, this sounds like it's a thing, but like my political volunteerism doesn't really impact kind of the decisions I make as an attorney, except that sometimes it brings in some really great insights because, I've built cases with unions or with tenants groups before. So I think maybe the way I would say it is um, as if I was city attorney, and I would be in a similar position where I would be representing the city, so not able to take on an individual client. But if there was an issue with a city department, that actually would be a great position to have a city attorney who's going to be friendly and listen. Because my top priority when I look at my work kind of at the state or when I've been at the city, um, I look at these as you are always serving the public. Even when the city is the client, you're defending the city. If something has gone wrong and we need to fix it at the city, my priority is fixing it. And so I think that that's kind of going to be my approach. It's not about thinking about who we're angering. It's about what coalitions we're building to actually fix the problem and kind of working within that space as a government attorney to reach the best outcome. And so I think if someone was bringing a case and had like a complaint against a city department, for example, I would want to really like sit down, listen, be working to resolve the underlying issue, and not kind of. I think when I'm an attorney, I don't think necessarily. None of us do. We think about kind of like the legal ethics. We think about the underlying issue. We're not necessarily thinking about the politics of it. That's very that doesn't kind of it's not how we think as attorneys, or at least how I think as an attorney, or how I think a government attorney should act. Um, so sorry if I didn't answer your question. Totally, like maybe like with the kind of concrete example, just because like quite logistically right now as a member of the California Department of Justice, I can't take on can't take on another client. But that's just generally my approach for I think the types of situations you're describing. And then I think I didn't hear like a question come from it, but I heard you brought it up, so I wanted to just kind of like mention I've for a long time been organizing and working with organizations that serve people who are system impacted. Initiate Justice is run by one of my friends, and I have been hugely supportive of their work. And I think when I think about the city attorney's office and the role we could have with criminal justice reform, the city attorney has jurisdiction over misdemeanors. The vast majority of misdemeanors are nonviolent. And they are like the top two, I think, are trespass and public intoxication, and they're disproportionately charged against people experiencing homelessness. There has been so much data that shows if we address nonviolent misdemeanors with diversion, where instead of incarceration, you pair someone up with the services they need, mental health services or job training or public health services, it helps reduce recidivism, which means that the person gets helped and the community is helped too. And so a lot of what I'm thinking in terms of criminal justice is how can we expand our diversion so that we reduce recidivism? We actually meaningfully make communities safer and make sure that we're keeping people out of like breaking the cycle of criminalization, keeping people out of our deeply, deeply harmful system of incarceration. And so I just wanted to say I've been working with a lot of groups on things like that. And I think with misdemeanors in particular, we have some huge opportunities to show the strength of diversion programs.
Is that it? Thanks so much, Marissa. So we're running out of time, but yeah, I will definitely get back to you in a couple weeks. I have a question. Are you going to be out tomorrow?
I'm going to be out for Labor Day. Yeah,
Okay.
at
Where?
the Wilmington
Oh,
Parade.
Wilmington.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
walking with sisters.
Yay. I'm going to be out, but I'm going to be at Elysian Park in the
Oh,
afternoon.
great.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll see you soon. We'll talk
Yeah,
soon. Oh, hey, is there any way you could keep October 25th free on your calendar?
Um,
I'll ask Emily.
yes, we have, there are